I'll give you 1 minute.
When in doubt, turn it off and on again.
Pull the plug.
All right.
Good evening. It's now 7:01, and the May the 19th, 2025 Town Hall meeting is now in session. I'm going to call the roll first. Commissioner Rutledge.
Here.
Commissioner Chismar.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
And Commissioner Chance. Here. All right. If you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion that the minutes from the board, oh, I'm sorry, that's the minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making the motion to approve the agenda for this evening's meeting, May 19th, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Bel Air Town Hall.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance.
Second.
All right, and do I have a motion to amend?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that we strike item 7C and the pertaining public comments as they are not yet ripe for discussion.
Thank you. May I have a voice vote to approve the amendment? No, I need a second
Yes.
to amend. Do I have a second to amend the agenda?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. And all in favor of amending the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And now I need a second to approve the agenda as amended.
I seconded the
Thank-
motion to approve, so now we just need to take a vote
All
on
right.
approval of the agenda.
So we're ready for the vote on that, Mr. Krantz.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, and to vote on approving the agenda for this evening, May 19th, 2025, Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners, Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Thank you.
And for those listening at home, the Plumtree Park Playground resurfacing contract will come up at a later date. It wasn't ready for this evening. Next is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meetings held on April 29th, 2025, May 5th, 2025, and May 7th, 2025 be approved as submitted, including minutes for the following meetings. April 29th, 2025, Commissioners' Budget Work Session open meeting. April 29, 2025, Commissioners' Budget Work Session closed meeting. May 5th, 2025, Commissioners' Town Hall meeting, and the May 7th, 2025, Commissioners' Budget Work Session meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion of the minutes? No? All right.
Nope.
Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners minutes on April 29th, May 5th, and May 7th. Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Presentations. First, we have the introduction of Miss Bel Air 2025, Kyla Giardello. And Mr. Blum, the podium is yours.
I'm not Miss Bel Air. My name is Mike Blum. It's my privilege to be head of the parade. I've run the parades beginning in 1992. It's been a few years. I'll get it right eventually. Every 4th of July, I've also run the Christmas parade with the help of all these wonderful people without whom nothing good could happen in Bel Air. But another job that I have for the last 15 years or so is be head of the Miss Bel Air Selection Committee. We have been blessed to have a series of wonderful young women as Miss Bel Air, and this year's Kyla Girardello is among the best that we have ever had. It is such a pleasure to have a Miss Bel Air who not only lives and works in Bel Air now, but was a clarinet player and marched in the parade as a high school student in the 4th of July on the streets of Bel Air when she was a local kid. Her mission now, she's a vet tech. And her mission is to promote a cleaner, more beautiful, greater Bel Air community and to encourage today's youth to pursue careers in STEM. She is a lead veterinary technician for Homeward Bound Veterinary Services in Bel Air. She provides high-quality veterinary care, administers vaccines, medication and diagnostics, and advocates fear-free vet practices, which we all need. We have 2 beloved pets of our own. This is an important thing that Kyla does every single working day of her life besides being Miss Bel Air. As Miss Bel Air, you might have seen her at the Kite Festival. She was at the Town Derby. She dropped the flag. That was just yesterday? Yesterday. She was at the Discovery Science Fair. She was at the Garden Mart. She believes in promoting Bel Air. All the wonderful things that we do, Miss Bel Air is there. But the major thing that Kyla does is to promote the 4th of July. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Kyla Girardello.
All right, well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Mr. Bloom. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kyla Girardello, and I am your Miss Bel Air 2025. I'm honored to serve as the official hostess and spokesperson for the Bel Air Independence Day Committee. This incredible all-volunteer group works year-round to bring our town safe, exciting, and patriotic celebrations on the 4th of July. This year, on Friday, July 4th, 2025, right here in the heart of Bel Air, we have a full day of events planned. Starting bright and early, 6:45 a.m. at Town Hall, we will begin with a flag-raising ceremony. Moving on, 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at Bel Air High School, there will be a pancake breakfast hosted by the Bel Air High School Boosters with a menu of blueberry, chocolate chip, or plain pancakes, sausage, and a drink of your choice. From 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Rockfield Park, there will be horseshoe pitching. That begins at 8:30, registration at 8. And from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Shamrock Park, there is a full morning of family fun. I'm glad we have some kids here today because you might hear something you want to try. Water balloon toss starting at 9 a.m., bocce instruction and competition at 10 a.m., Uncle Sam Says at 10:30, and my favorite, the watermelon eating contest at 11 a.m. And then the Bel Air Community Band Concert at noon. At 11 a.m. at the Bel Air Elementary School, there is a bicycle rodeo hosted by the Bel Air Police Department for boys and girls up to age 13. From 6 p.m. to 7:45 on Main Street, the main event of the day concludes with the Bel Air 4th of July Parade, starting at Idlewood and South Main and marching north to East Gordon. It's the perfect perfect ending to a day full of small town spirit and big American pride. Beyond my role of this celebration, I am honored to be competing for the title of Miss Maryland, where I hope to expand the work I've started here in Bel Air. Animals have always had a special place in my heart. They love without judgment, yet so many are left without homes, or even don't get compassion. In the U.S., more than 6 million animals enter shelters every year, with up to 1 million of those animals euthanized. I've dedicated myself to educating others about the importance of spaying and neutering, volunteering at shelters, and most importantly, speaking for those who cannot. As Miss Bel Air, I've seen how small acts of kindness can change lives, and as your potential next Miss Maryland, I'm ready to be a voice for every animal who deserves a second chance. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all on the 4th of July.
Well, thank you very much, Kyla. We really enjoyed having you in the Derby yesterday to help out and drop the flag. And I think we're going to take some pictures. We're going to put you in right, we look forward to seeing Kyla at the 4th of July parade, and Mike as well, our parade marshal. Next, we have the proclamation for Historic Preservation Month. Commissioner Rutledge?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners, honored guests, people of Bel Air, welcome. This is Preservation Month. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool of managing growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability, and whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. And now, therefore, we, the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 to be designated Preservation Month in the town of Bel Air and call upon the citizens of Bel Air to recognize and participate in this special observation. Thank you. So, I would, before we get to the very special awards for Historic Preservation Commission poster contest results, I wanted to hand over this proclamation to our representative for the Historic Preservation Commission, Joe Wojciechowski.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, sir. And any other members of the Historic Preservation Commission that are present? Come on up. Hey, Steve. Okay. Want us in front of it? So, how do you want to proceed? Jeff here.
Jeff's not coming, but what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about the poster contest, and then I'll read off the names.
That sounds great.
And then you can have Joe give out the goodie bags and the the certificates and the poster, yes. Good evening, I'm Laura Bianca Pruitt. I'm the Planner 2 with the Town of Bel Air and the Staff Liaison for our town's Historic Preservation Commission. Every year, as part of our Historic Preservation Commission's community outreach, they hold a 4th grade historic poster contest. So 4th graders in elementary schools that are in the town of Bel Air get to enter in an illustration that they did in black and white of one of our many historic properties in town. This year we had 2 schools participate, Hartford Day School as well as Homestead Wakefield Elementary School. Unfortunately, St. Margaret's was unable to participate this year due to a mid-year staff change, but we look forward to having them back again next year. And for these awards, we have honorable mentions from each school as well as an overall 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place entries. Each student will be getting a copy of their poster on foam board that was generously created by Alpha Graphics, and placemats will be distributed to local restaurants in town, including Vagabond Sandwich Company and the Frosted Rooster, who also graciously contributed gift cards for the honorable mention winners. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winners will receive Visa gift cards. Every winner will receive a certificate as well as a gift bag, which includes lots of Town of Bel Air goodies, including Marilyn LaRue's book about the architecture and cultural history of Bel Air. So with that said, I'm going to read off the names. I'm going to start with honorable mentions, and then each student will come up, and our Vice Chair of the Historic Preservation Commission, Joe Wojciechowski, as well as Commissioner Rutledge, will help hand out the awards, and we can also pose for photos. After the awards ceremony, you're all welcome to come to our reception that features cozy cookies over in our town community room. We'll go down the hallway to the left. So without further ado, we'll start with the honorable mentions from Homestead Wakefield Elementary School. All right, congratulations to Gwen Frank for her drawing of the Harford County Courthouse.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Here's your certificate and your gift card. And we've got a bag for you too. Want to take a picture? Stay right here.
Oh, and get their poster.
Oh, yeah. Here, I'll hold this. You got enough stuff in your hands. All right, congrats. Yes.
Next, we have Adeline Yarbrough, who drew the Bel Air Armory.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Gift card. Okay, you got the,
Oh, yes.
that's kind of heavy. Just want to make sure you have it. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Here, I'll hold this one for you. Pictures and I'll give it to you. Congratulations.
Oh, we need one more town. One more.
Sorry.
Okay, now honorable mentions for Harford Day School. We have Gianna Bossi, who drew the Van Bibber House.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Certificate, gift card. Gift bag for you too.
Oh, should we move over
Oh,
here?
we're gonna move over here for pictures.
Okay, and we also have Nita Chaudhry, who drew the Emmanuel Episcopal Church. Okay. Before I read our first, second, and third place winners, I also want to thank our art teachers from Homestead Wakefield, Miss Melinda Glacken, and from Hartford Day School, Miss Tracy Lyon. Now, our third place winner is Kinsley Turek from Hartford Day School, who drew Liriodendron.
Congratulations to Kinsley nonetheless.
Yes. And we'll pass her our award to you, Miss Lan. Second place is Dexter Kamashek from Hartford Day School, who drew Bel Air train station. All right, and our first place winner is Ava DeLauder, who from Harvard Day School, who drew Homestead. Yes, we'll have all the winners come up now for one large group photo.
Yeah? Yeah?
Big smiles. Say preservation.
You too.
Well, thank you to everyone who was here for this. Those were some terrific drawings. Commissioner Chismer and I were commiserating with our lack of artistic ability, so we are even more impressed, me, right, three. So we're even more impressed with the abilities of all the young artists that were here today, and we really appreciate you participating. You did some great work. So thank you, and enjoy those cookies. All right. There we go.
Everyone can follow us for the reception.
All right, the next item on our list is the public hearing for Resolution 1250-25, the fiscal year 2026 tentative budget. So if there's any member of the public here this evening that wants to comment on just this particular piece of legislation, they can come forward to the podium now. All right. Mr. Stump, I thought you wanted to comment on the budget. Come on up to the podium, Mr. Stump. So it's 7:26, and this is the public hearing on Resolution 1250-25.
My name is John Stump, 523 East Broadway, Bel Air, Maryland. It is my understanding in the budget that you plan to spend almost $50,000 for marketing expenses. And it is my hope that you're not planning to spend the money on marketing just to tell people from out of town how great Bel Air is. I also read that the town is proposing over $400,000 for community support. And I also see that, that the town is proposing to spend almost $900,000 for streets and highways. And although these are very important points, that the Town of Bel Air website states that in order to enhance and preserve downtown Bel Air appearance, traditions, community identity, and economic stability, business owners and interested citizens have joined hands in the Bel Air Downtown Alliance. Business owners and interested citizens have joined hands in the Bel Air Downtown Alliance. In the spirit of cooperation, you might reach out to the business owners and the Downtown Alliance that they might partner to invest in the future. And again, 2 police officers would be much better than 1 if you could cut those items or extend them out a couple years. You could call it an investment in the town's safety and security. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stump. Is there anyone else here that wishes to make a public comment on the budget? All right, in that case, at 7:28, we have closed the public hearing, and we will move on to new business, which is Resolution 1252-25, fiscal year 2026. What?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, but
Yes.
I have a presentation on
Okay.
Resolution 1250.
If you want to do the presentation first, that is just fine.
Yeah, it is on the tentative budget, not the final.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Budget, no, that's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just didn't want you to get too far. So the fiscal year 26 budget was introduced on April the 7th at a town meeting. This evening's public hearing, as well as the one held on April 21st, is to provide the public with an opportunity to provide input during the budget process. The board then uses this before it approves the final budget. We did hold 6 public work sessions during which the budget was reviewed in great detail. The public hearing this evening is on the tentative budget, which was adopted on April 21st. Even though changes were discussed and tentatively approved at the final budget work session on May 13th, those changes are not reflected in the tentative budget. Since the general fund was presented at the first public hearing, the staff will review the 2 enterprise funds as well as the special revenue fund this evening. Next slide. So we're going to start with the sewer fund. As you can see, fiscal year 26 shows about a $3.5 million reduction in the sewer fund as a whole. This was mainly due to ARPA funding in 25 and not in 26. The base charge, which is based on the meter size, and the rate per 1,000 gallons in the sewer service charges includes a 2.9% increase, which is again based on the 2024 Consumer Price Index in December. Therefore, the rate is proposed to increase from $7.29 to $7.50 per 1,000 gallons, and this would be effective July 1 of 2025. Next slide. For the expenses, it's a balanced budget, so you see the same change and the same budget total for fiscal year 26. Breaking down the sewer fund into different components, $476,406 is to fund the routine expenses, which maintains the sewer system. So those are salaries, utilities, supplies, maintenance and repair, and outsourcing of the sewer bills. A little over $1.9 million funds the payment to Harford County, who transports and treats the town's sewage. Almost $435,000 will reimburse the general fund for its pro rata share of salaries, overhead, and benefits that are attributable to the fund's operations. $160,000 will cover the cost to design upgrades for the Kelly Avenue pump station. And about $1,700 will fund interest-only debt service payments for existing bonds. Next slide. Onto the parking fund, again, another enterprise fund. Very little change from fiscal year '25. Harford County does reimburse the fund 2/3 of the operating costs, so about $136,000. They also reimburse the fund 2/3 of an annual contribution to the capital improvement reserve account, which is just a hair over $10,000. The total contribution to that reserve is $15,000, so the town contributes the remainder. There are 3 main sources of revenue in the parking fund. Meter collection, which includes the town's meters, the parking garage vouchers, as well as Park Mobile at $125,000. Parking fines are based on history, so almost $105,000. And then our lease fees, which are based on actual monthly leases at the time that the budget was prepared back in March for the 3 lots, the parking garage, and then we have 2 independent leases at about $69,000. Next slide, please. Again, balanced budget, so the fiscal year '26 expense equals the revenue at $587,757. And we break this fund down into multiple pieces as well. The lots section is about $218,000 for operations, including monies owed to the general fund for the pro rata share of salaries, benefits, and overhead. The parking garage of $197,000 for operations, including monies owed to the general fund and funds to pay for interest-only debt service payments. Also with the parking garage, that $15,000 that I mentioned on the revenue side that gets transferred to the capital reserve for future capital work. And then there's an other section, which the majority of those costs are attributable to depreciation on capital expenses and a 19% collection fee that's paid to the vendor who processes the town's parking tickets. Next slide, please. On to the special revenue fund. So this fund decreased about $96,000. The purpose of this fund is to account for grants or special projects that don't lend themselves to the normal fiscal year budgeting. So really, this fund kind of ebbs and flows as grants come and go. So a decline in this fund is not a concern. It just means we didn't bring in as many grants as we had the previous year. A couple of accounts to note. The Explorer Scouts, we submitted a $27,000 grant to the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention. In our seized property federal treasury account, $32,000 is anticipated as a result of the partnership with the task force. A second seized property account, but this is Federal Department of Justice, is $30,392 that we anticipate receiving for 3 forfeiture sharing cases with the DEA. And our community development block grant project, this is a grant, $52,354. It represents fiscal year '24 and '25 allotment grant years. We have not received our fiscal year '26 allotment yet. But the funding for those 2 fiscal years will be used to fund a paving project in one of our approved CDBG funding areas. Next slide, please. So that is it. That concludes the budget as a whole. We started in April, and we're now the second board meeting of May. So thank you to everyone for their attentiveness and their questions, for everyone's hard work and collaboration this budget season. Thank you.
And thank you for all your hard work and the staff's hard work. I know it's a balancing act. There are so many good things that we could do, but we only have so many dollars to go around. So we have to, give a little to the police department, a little public works, a little economic development, just, share it. And I know every year when we go through the budget, by the time you scale off all the things that we must pay for, there's not a lot of money left for things that we'd like to spend it on. And I know Mr. Stump was talking about the $900,000 or so that we're going to spend on roads, but the highway user revenue funds that, and we can only spend that on roads and some other associated things. Correct, Ms. Moody?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. I know that's sometimes difficult for me to understand, too. When I started looking at the budget, I'm like, well, we can't, grants you can't move around, designated funds like highway user revenue you can't move around, things that come from the funds like the parking fund, you can't move around. So it's not as easy to shift money around in the budget as it looks at first glance. So I think you guys have done a great job at balancing everything.
Thank you.
With that being said, any other comments by any of the other commissioners? All right. In that case, we are now up to new business. For Resolution 1252-25, the fiscal year 2026 final budget. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move the proposed resolution number 1252-25, providing for the adoption of a final budget for the town of Bel Air for fiscal year 2026, be adopted by the Board of Town Commissioners with the following amendments. Under General Fund, decrease of real property taxes by $13,800 to balance the budget. Decrease under miscellaneous grants by $5,295 for the Alice Ann Park project, since some monies will be funded by the town instead of 100% through a grant. Increase of salaries, benefits in the various departments for monies stored in the other account within the miscellaneous department for the 2.9 cost of living adjustment for $299,622, and the overall change to the civilian pay scale, a 1% increase to the sworn pay scale and revised merits, $313,338, for a total of $612,960. Increase in expenses in the town buildings department by $2,400 to fund the addition of a porta pot at Homestead Park. Increase under elections by $5,300. Decrease under expenses in the planning department by $72,000. This removed the 2 bicycle lane projects at $60,000 and the 2 trail projects at $12,000. Increase under capital projects in the planning department by $19,705 for the Alice Ann Park project. Increase under miscellaneous expenses in the miscellaneous department by $3,500. This increases the contributions for the Historical Society at $1,000 and the Harford County Education Foundation at $1,500, as well as adds new contributions to the fire police at $1,000. Decreased other in the miscellaneous department to transfer monies for the 2.9% cost of living adjustment at that same $299,622 figure, and the overall change to the civilian pay scale, a 1% increase to the sworn pay scale and revised merits at $313,338 for a total of $612,960 to the applicable salary and benefit accounts in the various departments. Increase under Bel Air Volunteer Fire Company under the Public Safety Department by $25,000. Decreased expenses in the Police Department by $3,000 for the active shooter bags already funded in fiscal year 25. Under the Sewer Fund, increase under salaries and benefits for the money stored in the other account for the 2.9% COLA, $6,891, and the overall change of the civilian pay scale and revised merits, $13,074, for a total of $19,965. And, coterminously, decrease under Town Operations expenses for the money stored in the other account by $19,965 to transfer the monies for the 2.9% cost of living adjustment at $6,891, and the overall change to the civilian pay scale and revised merits, $13,074, for a total of $19,965 to the applicable salary and benefits accounts.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. Moody, any?
No, ma'am, I have nothing else to present.
All right.
Thank you.
In that case, do we have any member of the public who would like to comment on the final budget? Yes, sir, Mr. Stump, come up. And if you could just state your name and address for the record.
John Stump, 523 East Broadway, Bel Air, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to speak to you tonight about the future. On May 5th, I gave you a glimpse into the future as to the number of police officers that is possible we may lose in the next 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the future rests with you. That is why I say one police officer in the budget is not enough. There is one major factor that will require an increase in the number of police officers: Bel Air's population. It's no secret that Bel Air's population will continue to grow. The population density will continue to present a real challenge now and in the future. Our police department must keep pace with the constant influx of visitors and its current and new residents. In order to meet these challenges that the future brings, we must invest in more highly trained police officers. The research is simple but clear. More police officers on the streets means less crime. An investment in the town's future safety and security relies on the strength of its police department. The success of the Bel Air Police Department on any given day is not what did happen, but what did not happen. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the price tag for that visible deterrent to crime? Are the men and women of the Bel Air Police Department just a number in the budget? They are that thin blue line I spoke of who keeps our town safe and secure. Do not look to today, but look to the future. We have an opportunity now, before it's too late, to make an investment in the future. And one final question, ladies and gentlemen, something for you to think about. If a tragedy occurs, are you prepared to look the family of the victim in the eye, answer their question, why weren't there more police officers on the street to prevent the tragedy? Or would you just tell them that the commissioners only approved one police officer in the budget? Questions, ladies and gentlemen. I've been up here 3 times. Questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stump. All right, any discussion amongst the commissioners about the budget before we vote?
I feel it's relevant to point out that this budget funds the Bel Air Police Department at really an historic rate and includes a nearly $250,000 investment in cutting-edge anti-crime technology that will keep Bel Air safe. It fully funds the request of Bel Air Police Department, and I'm really proud of the work that Chief Moore did in putting this request together, and I'm really proud to vote to fund all of it because I know that every penny will go towards the men and women that keep us safe day in and day out.
Thank you, sir. Some credit also goes to Mr. Hopkins, who's a big fan of this new project too. So thank you very much.
Yes, and that it should then be extended to across all sections of this budget. Very proud of all of the work that we've done. I think this is a very prudent, fiscally conservative, fiscally responsible budget, one that provides for public safety, one that gives a hand up to town employees who deserve it and have deserved it for some time, one that will make us incredibly competitive in the services that we render our taxpayers, one that respects that our taxpayers who pay a little bit higher property taxes than those residents of the county expect then to get a better return on investment than folks who live outside the town. And I think that that's exactly what we provide with this. You know, we uncovered, and well, I shouldn't say uncovered, but we continued to discuss some important problems and future long-term issues that we need to solve, and I think that we have a more clear-eyed view of how we're going to do that. And I also think that we have fantastic priorities so that in each coming year we're going to continue to grow the Bel Air Police Department and all of our other departments who provide critical services to the town of Bel Air and its residents. So I'm very proud of this budget. I think that we've done a good job here. We, of course, did not raise taxes. And it's always impressive to do all of these things without raising taxes because Lord knows that the residents of the town of Bel Air and the rest of this state are taxed enough already and squeezed enough as it is. So I'm a yes on this budget. I think this is a fantastic budget, and I cannot thank the folks who helped put it together enough, and I cannot be grateful enough to the town employees and the folks in town who will benefit from all the things that we put together here.
Commissioner Taylor, I think you spoke very eloquently to the whole budget process and what we have in here. in the budget. I think the staff and the commissioners have all worked hard to come up with this budget. I think it meets the needs of all the departments. No one has said that they're really hurting because of that. I think it's a good budget going forward.
I agree. I know it's been a lot of hard work, and I really do appreciate your, all the hours you put in, Lisa, for sure. There's no way in the world I want your job. But having said that, it's always hard, even, you know, as a homeowner, you look at the money you have coming in and how you can spend it and where it can go, best go. And Chief, I think you do an amazing job every year, year after year, doing all that you can to keep peace here. So I appreciate that. So it's always hard, but I do feel like what we've come up with is really, really fair. Thanks.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I certainly second the comments of the commissioners, Commissioner Chance and Commissioner Taylor, Commissioner Chismar. I agree with everything that you all have said, and I did want to, just for the public watching tonight, if you hadn't had a chance to watch the process, particularly what Commissioner Taylor was referring to, a camera system that would really utilize cutting-edge technology. This budget commits a substantial investment in that will be, in my view, in my humble opinion, a force multiplier for our personnel in the police department as well as in the Department of Public Works, that I've observed during various stressful times in the town and challenging times, that our departments work very closely together. But I think this new investment in this camera system, I've reflected on it a great deal, because I do take to heart the comments and the questions presented by Mr. Stump, and think he eloquently presented his position. And I take that very seriously. They say once a prosecutor, always a prosecutor. I think the chair can agree with that, and it's always been part of my heart since when I was a young attorney in South Georgia handling cases. And this department works hard, and I think that for the people of Bel Air, this camera system is going to be a force multiplier, and it's going to help build on that in the future. I would love to see expansion of the police department in the future as needed, and as Commissioner Taylor pointed out, we fully funded the department at its request, and between Chief Moore and our town administrator, Mr. Hopkins, you can't get two more experienced really law enforcement officers and public safety officials to really look to, and the experience, Mr. Hopkins and Chief Moore, that you have far exceeds anything that I could even imagine. And I rely upon your advice and your counsel very, very much, and I think that the people of Bel Air can have great confidence that we are doing the best we can, and really taking some cutting-edge steps forward. So I also want to thank my fellow commissioners for the hard work in this budget process and the excellent discussions that we've had on the topic, and I support the budget as submitted this evening on this motion.
As do I. As a former prosecutor in Baltimore County, as the wife of a law enforcement officer and the mother to another law enforcement officer, I can tell you that to me, the Bel Air Police Department is just not another line in our budget. They are our thin blue line. And I grew up in Baltimore City, and the reason I live here in town is because it is such a nice, pleasant, and safe place to live. And I think the town police department does a terrific job, and how the chief has managed to build such a team in these years where it's so difficult to hire and keep good law enforcement officers is a real tribute to him. So I do think that those cameras are going to be a real force multiplier. I think they will be a huge help to the police department. One of our biggest crime problems, and I wish we had zero crime problems, but our biggest biggest one is the retail thefts. And that will be huge, huge, because word will get out, do not go to Bel Air, you will be identified, you will be arrested, and Allison Healy, the state's attorney, will not drop your case, you will be prosecuted. So we want to be known as the place that you don't want to go to commit a crime, and I think this will really help. Would we like more police officers? Absolutely, but I think we're doing a really great job with the team that we have, and that's certainly not to say that the other departments aren't doing a great job too. Public Works yesterday at the Derby was like backing the truck up the street, throwing in hail bales and picking up all the other stuff that they had to pick up. They are quick. So that road, after the race was over, was opened up very, very quickly. And it was just a beautiful thing to see that dump truck rolling backwards down the street, picking up everything. So thank you to all the departments. I know there's all kinds of things you could use money for and all kinds of nice things that we can do, but we only have so much money to spend, and like any household, you have to live within your budget. And we are still the municipality with the lowest tax rate of the three. So we have that feather in our cap, and we provide a lot of services to our residents. It's a great place to live. I was talking to somebody at the Derby who moved from just outside of town about 10 years ago to inside town. And I was like, who would move, that little distance? But he wanted to be in town and live in town. So I think that speaks to what a great job everybody's doing. So kudos to everyone. All right. Anything further from anyone? In that case, Mr. Krantz, we are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This will be for the vote on Resolution 125225, the final budget for fiscal year 2026. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismore,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Resolution 125225 is passed. Thank you.
And I will greatly miss spending 4 hours an evening with all of you going over numbers. All right.
This time next year.
This time next year, yes. We'll be back again. All right, so next is the street resurfacing contract. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the proposal of the American Asphalt Paving Company, Inc., 1100 North Macon Street, Baltimore, Maryland, to resurface 7 sections of town streets, Plumtree Park parking lot, and Plumtree Park basketball court, all in accordance with the contract specifications, for an amount not to exceed $410,000, be accepted by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. All right, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a thing to ask tonight. I read this thing probably 5 times before coming here tonight, and tonight I sat here and read this one more time and realized I omitted something that was important. And that was that the basketball court and the parking lot at Plumtree Park did not come out of our regular street maintenance money. It came out of another account under Kevin's budget. So I wanted to make sure that we understood that tonight, and I would like to change the not to exceed amount, the cost of those basketball court and the parking lot, which would bring the not to exceed to $434,990, which is a $24,990 adjustment.
And I'm going to assume that we have this money in the budget.
Yes, it was actually budgeted for the project and everything, but when I was writing up the agenda, it went over my head, so.
All right.
I apologize on that.
That's okay. I believe what we need is a motion to amend.
Madam Chair, I move to amend the motion that I just made to state not to exceed $434,990 be accepted by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, now, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, and sorry for that.
All in favor of the amendment? Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. There you go, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, and again, sorry. This contract includes a comprehensive resurfacing initiative addressing 7 sections of streets within our town. Specifically, it includes the resurfacing of Ellendale Street from Rock Spring Avenue to Franklin Street, Roland Avenue stretching from Hall Street to Howard Street, Gordon Street from Bond Street to William Street, Atwood Road from Catherine Street through Gordon Street, Broadway from Ardmore Way to Shamrock, South Shamrock Road from East Churchville to Lee Way, and South Reed Street from Bolton Street to Thomas Street. In addition, the contract calls for the paving of the parking lot and the basketball court at Plumtree Park. Funding for this project totaling $410,000 had been allocated in the streets budget under the following accounts: 1483-0627, which is curb and gutter repairs; 1483-0931, which is street construction monies; and finally 1483-0832 for curb ramp construction for the handicap ramps. An additional $24,990 from the planning's budget will be utilized to pave the basketball court and Plumtree parking lot. The procurement department advertised contract DPW 042325 on the town's website. 6 bids were received for the contract. American Asphalt was the low bidder of the 6 bids received. Staff recommends the proposal of the American Asphalt Paving Company to resurface 7 sections of town streets, Plumtree Park parking lot, and Plumtree Park basketball court, all in accordance with contract specifications for an amount not to exceed $434,990, be accepted by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
And as I indicated to you all in an email last week, we got a really good price on this bid, which makes me really happy. We were able to actually add 2 additional streets from what we had originally planned to do because of the good price that we got, which is a win-win for the town. So that's a good deal. Thank you.
The only thing that concerns me is it says that the price per liquid ton is subject to monthly adjustments as necessary. So it looks like that price could go up.
Yeah, I don't think so during right now, but it could. They just
Okay.
put that in there as a standard. Sometimes asphalt really goes up. Asphalt is driven by petroleum,
oil.
gas, and it doesn't seem like that's really going up too much right now. It's coming
Okay.
down.
And Mr. Klein, you've had experience with American Asphalt. You're happy with their service,
Absolutely.
their product? Okay.
I hate to play favorites sometimes, but they seem to come into the town and get the job done, and not a lot of complaints. They're clean about what they do, and they're in and they're out and do a nice job.
All right, good.
Yep. And one other thing that they don't normally do is ask for extras when they're out there, so.
And Lisa, is most of this funding coming from highway user revenue?
Yes, the whole $410,000 is.
Right, and then Mr. Klein said there was a smaller portion that was coming from the planning department budget?
It's coming from grant.
Ah,
it's a
okay.
grant.
So it's all either highway user revenue or grant. So in other words, can only be used for this purpose.
Mhm,
All right,
correct.
Thank you. And what a efficient purpose I think it's being used for. Again, Mr. Klein, I commend you for your ability to squeeze every square foot of asphalt that you can from the dollar. Thank you.
Good, yeah.
All right, any further discussion of this contract? All right, we are now voting on the amended motion.
This is for the vote on the amended bituminous concrete resurfacing at various locations of the town of Bel Air. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The contract is approved. Thank you.
All right. Next is the appointments to the Appearance and Beautification Committee, and first we have Courtney Endley. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the appointment of Courtney Endley to the Bel Air Appearance and Beautification Committee for a term of 4 years, effective immediately, be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
I second that.
All right. Any discussion?
I will say that Courtney has attended at least one ABC meeting while she was not a member that I'm aware of, our most recent meeting. Might have been more because I missed one, but at least one. And she is excited. She is of I think that she will provide a lot of new ideas and also be an energetic set of hands to help this group enact all the wonderful things that they do, making the town of Bel Air as beautiful as they make it. I'll say this, and this will apply to the next appointment as well, but this group is working particularly now on the flower beds in the Flatiron intersection. Now we just sort of have a patch of dirt right there, there right now. We're looking forward to get some beautiful flora in there. This is the group that is picking that out, and I'm excited for what they've chosen. And they maintain several gardens around town beautifully, and really are an integral but often unseen. I'll say this: you see their work, you rarely see them. Certainly what they do is not unseen, but they often remain unseen in their service to the town. So we appreciate them, and we're always thankful for someone who's willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work and join the group. So I certainly recommend Courtney's appointment to fill one of the 3 vacant seats that we currently have there.
Thank you. Any further comments from any of the commissioners? No? I certainly thank Courtney for her willingness to serve. Is there any member of the public here that wishes to comment on this appointment before we vote? No. All right. Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the appointment of Courtney Endley to the Appearance and Beautification Committee. Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
Welcome, Courtney, to the Appearance and Beautification Committee.
Yeah. And next, the appointment to the Appearance and Beautification Committee of Audrey Street. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the appointment of Audrey Street to the Bel Air Appearance and Beautification Committee for a term of 4 years effective immediately be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
And do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments?
Everything that I said about Courtney applies to Audrey, with the added caveat of you probably know her name. Her father, of course, was Dr. Dick Street. And she has been in town her entire life. She doesn't live in town anymore, but she has been an integral part of our community, and she will continue to serve us well in this capacity.
Many people may know her as the pharmacist at Boyd and Fulford, and most recently at ShopRite.
That's right.
Kind ShopRite on
That's
Main
exactly
Street.
right.
You got it.
So I was going to say, she may not live in town, but she's still here.
That's exactly
And as a
right.
pharmacist, followed
That's
in her
right.
father's footsteps, so.
And
it's
she
pretty
gave you
impressive.
personalized care.
Oh. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I just would like to add that, just a personal note about Audrey is she's a fine citizen, comes from a long lineage of great, strong Harford County families on many sides of her family, has an outstanding reputation with all people that I've ever met that know Audrey personally, grew up with her and worked with her in many aspects all the way through. So for her to step up and help out the town and really jump into this is fantastic, and I'm just so excited to see so many great applicants for our commissions across the board, and Audrey's just another example of outstanding people stepping up and volunteering to do that. And those who are listening out there, we have one more spot on this committee. So folks, if you're out there, I'd ask you to please seriously consider help us fill it out. And I think you'll find that you get to see the results of your work in the beautification of the town, which for many of us that have jobs that you don't immediately see the results of your work, that's a really nice thing. It's a very cool thing. So
And
I'm
you get to
excited
spend
about
an hour of your time with Steve Klein and I every second Monday. So,
Can't
you know,
beat that
you've got to
with a stick.
take, the good with the bad there. No, we have a fantastic group, Jim, and thank you for recognizing them. They really are a gifted group of ladies who care so deeply about this town and making it look beautiful. Yes, please, Director Klein.
Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the actions that were going on today as a result of the Appearance and Beautification Committee. Today was the first day that we brought in flowers to start putting in all our flower beds. And this year we got a banner crop of flowers. They just look absolutely beautiful. They're very healthy and mature already. I was looked at a couple of the beds already, and they look like they're a month along already. So I'm really excited. The baskets will be going up sometime this week as well, and they look really nice. So I was also down in Falston today picking out boulders that will be placed at Flatiron Corner for the landscaping project that should
Great.
be in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So things are popping, they're popping, they got a lot going on, and I think in the next week or two, the town's really gonna look like a beautiful place. So thank you.
I did see this afternoon in 2 different locations, flowers being planted, and you're right, they look like they'd been planted weeks ago. They look healthy and strong and really lovely. And I, yeah, yeah. And I do want to say one thing about our new person, Audrey. Her father was Jean Street.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
And Dick Street would not be happy to hear that he's not with us anymore.
Yes, I apologize.
So her father's name was
Thank
Jean.
you for that, Mary.
You're welcome.
Yes. Jean
That's
Street,
all right.
yes.
Just because if he heard it, it's okay, your Dick. You're still with us. It's okay.
I'm really impressed nobody corrected me before you, so thank you. I didn't even realize that I'd made that slip of the tongue. I apologize.
All right. Is there anyone here that wishes to publicly comment on the appointment of Audrey Street to the Appearance and Beautification Committee? All right. In that case, we are ready. Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the appointment of Audrey Street to the Parents Beautification Committee, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Welcome, Ms. Street.
Next, we have the public announcements. All town offices will be closed on Monday, May the 26th in observance of Memorial Day. Residents whose trash is typically picked up on Mondays will have theirs collected on Wednesday, May the 28th. Household trash will be picked up on Tuesday of next week as scheduled. Yard waste will not be collected on Monday, and there will be no bulk trash pickup on Wednesday. Join us in Shamrock Park on Monday, May the 26th, as the town and the American Legion host our annual Memorial Day ceremony. The event begins at 10:30 a.m. and features patriotic music performed by the Bel Air Community Band, static displays of military memorabilia, a wreath-laying ceremony, and military honors to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving our country in uniform. The Bel Air Community Yard Sale and Flea Market, hosted by the Bel Air Downtown Alliance, will be Sunday, May the 25th. The flea market will be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Mary Ristow Building lot at 2 South Bond Street. Anyone who wants to participate in the yard sale can contact the Alliance at 443-823-1797 or info@downtownbelair.com. The 45th Annual Bel Air Town Run will be Sunday, June the 1st. Participants can sign up for a 5K run or a 1-mile fun run walk. The races begin at 8 a.m. on Main Street with the finish line on Leeway by Shamrock Park. Visit belairtownrun.com to register. Virtual versions of the 5K and 1-mile run are also available. The town's annual summer concert series kicks off on Sunday, June 1st in Shamrock Park with a performance by the Bel Air Community Band. Admission is free and the show begins at 7 p.m. Follow the Town of Bel Air on social media or call 410-803-9784 after 3 p.m. the day of the concert. Visit the town website or our social media pages for a full schedule of the concerts, which run through August the 17th. We will have a special summer concert in Shamrock Park the next Sunday, June the 8th, featuring the Susquehanna Symphony Orchestra as Harford County celebrates the 250th birthday of the United States Army. That event starts at 4 p.m. and features interactive displays of military vehicles and equipment, food trucks, children's entertainment, guest speakers, an enlistment ceremony for Army recruits, a flyover, and concludes with the concert at 7 p.m. The Cultural Arts Commission meets at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, May the 21st in the second-floor conference room of the Bel Air Armory, and the Historic Preservation Commission meeting scheduled for Thursday, May the 22nd has been canceled. The Committee for Seniors and Citizens in Need will meet at 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, May the 28th in the Bel Air Police Department Community Room, and the Board of Town Commissioners will hold a work session on 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday, May 27th in Town Hall, and the next town meeting will be at 7 p.m. on Monday, June the 2nd, here in Town Hall. Did I miss anything? Of course.
Madam,
Of course I did. There's always something.
Madam Chair, if I can just add that we are now accepting nominations for Business of the Year and Citizen of the Year. You can find the nomination form on the economic development portion of the town website. Applications are due before June 9th, so
Okay.
still plenty of time to recognize those businesses and citizens.
But it's coming up quickly, so
It
get
is.
those applications in, and thank you for
Thank you.
that announcement. All right, if there are no more public announcements, we are on to public comments. If there's anyone here that wishes to make a public comment on any topic, whether it was the subject of this evening's agenda or not, you can step to the podium and state your name and your address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Kimberly Wagner. I live at 11 East Howard Street, that way. And I've moved to Bel Air 2 years ago come June, and I absolutely love it here. Today, I would like to address you on the issue of short-term rentals. I understand that this might be a topic that will be coming before the commissioners in the near future. I also lived very close to town 2 years ago. I actually lived on the 6th hole at Maryland Golf for 20-some years. And I absolutely loved it there, but I really, really wanted to be a townie. I just really wanted to be a townie. So I was blessed to be able to find a for sale by owner house 2 years ago. And I don't even know the name of my neighborhood, to be honest with you, but it's amazing. So I went through the comprehensive plan when I came here, and I looked at the 2022 plan. I believe that's the most current one. And I was very encouraged by the fact that the commissioners at that time were advocating for short-term rentals. I know that in the last, I'm pretty much raised here. I've been here since 1972, and I've always known that there's really no hotels, motels, really any place to stay in our beautiful town. Our business was out at the corner of 7 and 24, a family business that grew to be really big, and then we eventually sold it. And so my experience was primarily out on the interstate. That's what I called it, out on the interstate. And when we would have people come from out of town, it was most unfortunate that they would have to stay out there as opposed to in Bel Air, or Havre de Grace was just too far. Our business was in Abingdon. But if I could just go back to my notes and say a few other words. Again, I looked for my home here for 2 years. Each time I thought I had a win, I'd have the check ready and I'd lose the bid. You all know how the market has been over the last couple, 5 years. I had no contingency issues. I was ready. I knew that my house would sell quickly, and it still took me over 2 years to get into this beautiful town. And how did I get so lucky? My house is so convenient. I am 0.92 miles from work. It is a beautiful, peaceful walk in the morning. It is so much better than the drive I used to make to Loyola as a professor. You know, I had to reserve a whole hour, deal with all that contention. I now have a job here in town. I work in the courthouse. I took a state position about 2 years ago, and I'm very, very happy to be here. Everything that I can do in town, I do. Change my nail appointment to town, go to a podiatrist in town, shop in town. You know, Rob's the cook at home. Sorry, Charlie, I saw your name up there. And I bet you're the cook too. And anyway, I can stop at ShopRite on the way home with my market bag, and I'm off to go. So I really love it here, and I would love to share this amazing place with people that could come. And we can do that with short-term rentals. So thank you for your time, everyone, and I'm sure you'll see me again.
Thank you for your comments, and welcome to town. All right, now we're at commissioners' comments.
I wanted to briefly mention Commissioner Chismar and I, along with our two senior officers from BAPD, Chief Moore, Deputy Chief Hughes, had the privilege to represent the town at the Hartford Chamber of Commerce's Military Appreciation Luncheon this past week at Aberdeen Proving Ground. It was a very well-attended event. There were a lot of folks out in full force supporting our armed forces. You know, the military and armed forces, and particularly the Army, they mean a lot to us here in Hartford County. They, of course, mean the same thing that they mean to every American. They mean our freedom. They mean our safety. They mean our security. But to us here in Hartford County, they also mean a certain way of life. And we are blessed to have APG really as the economic anchor of this county. Quite frankly, the town of Bel Air is blessed to have APG as the economic anchor of town. Even though it's not in town, it remains, this area code remains the #1 residence of those employed by APG. So whenever we get an opportunity to reflect on those blessings that we have here locally, and the way that those blessings work to defend our nation internationally, is always time well spent. And there were a number of very deserving awardees. There were a number of young people who were awarded scholarships. It was a wonderful event. I was very pleased to join Commissioner Chismar in sharing the town's support. And I'm very pleased that, again, in this year's budget, we continue to support the Army Alliance in what they do in moving along the mission at APG. And I think it's worthwhile to every now and then take a step back and think about the support that the town can and should provide for our partners at APG and for our servicemen and women across the nation.
I'd like to just say that yesterday's event, the Lions Club Derby, was just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And what's so impressive to me is that so many people come not only to watch, but all the volunteers that show up to make that event happen. It wouldn't happen without them, but really the cornerstone of it all is the Bel Air Lions Club, who puts so much time and energy into it just to bring a lot of joy into town. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, I'll echo that. They must have had, just the Lions Club must have had 20, 30 people there in line. And then there were the volunteers on top of that. So they really come out in full force for that event. It's kind of like they're one of their keystone events of the year. And it's, I know they do a lot of fundraising and things to help in the community, but this isn't really a fundraising thing. This is just more of a community service, a fun day, and to support the kids. And just great event. They do a great job.
And we'd be remiss not to congratulate, I know we will at a later date, but while it's hot off the presses, the Bel Air Volunteer Fire Company for bringing it home, the hometown gold medal, and also, of course, Independent Brewing for the silver, and Harco Credit Union for the bronze. Our podium was well represented with town institutions, and quite a few more not far behind them, nipping at the heels. I think that we'll have some even more contentious competition for a spot on the podium next year. So it was a real treat to get to see how much fun the kids had yesterday.
And a longer race, next year a longer race, because they said they had 26 racers this year and a waiting list. So it may be a bigger race next year. So we'll see.
It was perfect weather. It was the perfect day. And thank you to the Bel Air Police Department for all that they did, as well as Public Works. Everybody did a really great job in supporting the Lions and the Downtown Alliance in the Derby, which was the third Derby. They started off with only 10 cars, and I think they were nervous that first year whether they'd even have two so they could have a race. Now they're up to 26 with a waiting list, so it has become a very, very popular event. And all of the businesses really sort of, get into it with amusing things on Facebook, some banter. Everybody, you see so many people that you know and so many businesses that you know that are either sponsoring a car in the race or are a sponsor of another fashion. So we have all of our businesses involved, and it's just a great family kind of fun. And it was a perfect day. So thank you to everyone.
Well, I would just like to I'd like to thank Kim Wagner for coming out and speaking tonight. We've known each other a long, long time in the bar, and welcome to town. And I certainly can appreciate that it's a fantastic place to be able to walk around and to people to enjoy that and can appreciate your sentiments. And for those in the listening audience, anybody, this is your opportunity to come out and speak a public comment, as the mayor stated, on any topic. You get 3 minutes, whether the topic was on the agenda or not. And we do appreciate input in person. It's great. I mean, in this digital age of, social media, et cetera, it serves its purposes, but there's nothing just like human touch. So I just encourage people, if you really have something to say to the commissioners, and you're able physically and health-wise, and to come out for public comments, come out for public comments. It's we really have very few in the year and a half I've been on the commission. It's not that often that we have people show up for public comment, unless there's like a hearing on a controversial matter. But policies get set and formed over time, and so a lot of times, like a comment at the last minute, at the last hearing, at the last hour may not be the best way to persuade the decision makers. So I just, I appreciate that. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, Professor. Yeah.
All right. Any other commissioners' comments this evening? In that case,
I'd
may I
like to
have
make a motion to adjourn.
There you go. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.